Okay, we'll get back down in there. I cleaned off this edge here, and I also cleaned this edge as best I could. Remember that little bit of stucco wire was here? I pulled that back, cleaned off to here. This OSB plywood was all wet right along there because from where it was leaking there, this felt pretty solid from here, and I took my little scratch awl and kind of hit on it a little bit. But see, right there, I can push all the way in. So I know all that's got to come out, and that's because of that leak over there. And once it gets this OSB wet, it just continues over. Plus, this was the seam. Remember when I pulled off the other paper, this material from here this way, it was on top of this. They should have lifted this up and put it underneath so that the water goes that way and goes over this on top of the other paper, not vice versa. And that's why this was all corroded alongside that, and especially more over there because of that. That was a double whammy here and there. Same thing over here. Lots of this damage was caused from that, but then we still had some going over this way. So I told you I was trying to lift this up, and see, this little section I could lift up a little bit just to there, and that's how the wood should be. Nice. See, it's all plenty dry over here, isn't it? But see down in there, look at that. Right up underneath there, because from the leak there, it hit that in the OSB. It just acts as a sponge. Even though that's uphill, it kind of went up that way. You can see along there. And so I'm probably going to have to cut just the flashing off there. I don't think I want to cut any of the top off. If I cut that, I can kind of peel this back a little bit. I can clean all that stuff out right in there. I think most of this plywood is still solid. It looks like there's going to be some right in here. I'm going to have to cut out and patch, it looks like. And I can get underneath this from inside. All I have to do is open that back up and see there's a, oh, I thought there was a seam right there, but there's not. I'd have to cut a little patch out, maybe put a block up there from underneath on the other side for backing, in case there's no backing right there, let's say. And I was able to measure the thickness of this OSB, and you know what? I could look on the other side of this underneath the house and see what it shows, but I'm pretty sure it's 3/4 inch. I measured this right here. This is a nice dry area there. And see over here, I couldn't really measure this because once it gets slightly wet, this expands. This was about 7/8 of an inch right here, just because it got wet from this. Oh, see where it's dry right there? Look at that. Just lifting that. That almost feels like it's still slightly moist. So I'm going to have to do the same thing with that, but this looks pretty good. So it tells me probably going to have to cut this rubber back a little bit, you know, so that I can lift that up, clean that out of there and stuff. See, there's a short piece of paper here. Look at that. And then they put that stuff down. And it looks like it's glued in certain areas, but then, see, it's not glued down in there. It's just glued right there where the seam is. And there's a little, see, I could raise that up all the way along there. The glued area starts right there. And if I pulled on that and worked on it, I could probably peel this back even further, but I don't know if I'll have to or not. I may, just to check around the corner there. But see, that is because it got in there. It shouldn't have gotten in through the back of the column, because when it rains, the rain comes this direction, comes down, and chances are the other side of that column is going to be fine. Okay, I don't want to get into doing too much, but if I cut that right there, I can at least pull that back and look underneath there and see how much more damage, if any, is going back there. Okay. What else was I doing? I took this off. My idea was, okay, I'll patch a little piece of OSB plywood there. This here is 1/2 inch for the wall. Okay, and this was all loose. This was loose here, and over there it's dry rot. Inside there, see this? It's all falling apart. And so I have to take this off further, you know, down in here. And I thought, okay, I'll just dig a line through there, and I was just doing it with my hammer. You know, I can tap on this, and then once I get it up top, mind you, I don't have my gloves on right now because I was just going to talk. Got my gloves in my nail bag. It doesn't take much, and then I pull this back and cut it off with my cutters and all that. And I thought, okay, well then I'll put the OSB plywood back on, and then I thought, hey, you know what? Are you thinking the same thing I'm thinking? When I put my leisure board back on here, I was thinking I was going to have to go through the stucco and put lag bolts and use a lag through the 2x6, through the stucco, through the OSB, into the wood behind there. Here's the solid wood, and I thought, you know what? Since I'm this far, I think what I'm going to do is end up cutting the OSB all the way along here, and I'm gonna tap out all of this stucco, and the stucco's not that thick. You can see how thick it is. It's right up at the top. It's less than 1/2 inch. Look how thin that is. Hardly anything. And so it's not going to take me much. I might measure and do a chalk line across here and go down lower than my 2x6, where my 2x6 is going to be, because I know the top edge of the 2x6 is going to be right there where this wood is here prior to the flooring, right? You see that? Right here, this, I don't even know if that's a 2x6. It could be a 2x12 on top of the wall or whatever, but as long as I go down 5.5 inches from here down, then I'll probably make it 5 3/4 or 6 inches or whatever. And then I can take my 2x6 and I can nail it directly wood to wood on the 2x6. I don't have to bolt anything in or anything. And so once I get an edge down here, this is going to be underneath the deck, right? I could just leave it. It doesn't matter. I don't have to do anything over this hole. Obviously, I just have some screws over this. This is going to be my crawl hole access area between this deck area here and that deck. And then through that hole, if you saw my other videos, I think I have an access I had to cut through that angled wall down below. And that gives me my access to that area. Okay? You watch those back videos and you'll see the area underneath here. It's nice and clean. TJI floor joists, the OSB plywood looks just as clean as this on the back side. You know, when I'm down inside here looking up, it's just as clean as that, so I know there's no leaks on it or anything. That looks good there, doesn't it? You know, that tells me they did a nice job on this particular deck. They just didn't follow it through here. Lots of areas, as I explained previous, about where the leaks are there, all the way along this edge, at that angle, that little bit there, right there, over there on that, and it caused all that damage. Right in through there, caused all that damage. I'm getting you all dizzy now. Over there, look at all that. Over there, that caused damage here, and then all of that was coming through there, and it caused all that water damage where the 4x12 the stair tread is. And I've done all that, all of this stuff that I knocked out. All I used, I haven't even used my hammer with it at all. All I was doing was using this. This is my little scratch awl, I call it. You can. It kind of looks like an ice pick, you know, nice sharp point and stuff. And that's all I used. And the stringer, the stair stringer, I did that. I pushed this stuff through there. Look at that. I mean, it's just awful. Well, I just looked at my watch. It's a little after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I want to go a little bit longer. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to do a chalk line or do something, measure down. This is where the bottom of the other 2x6 went down to there, so I might go just a hair further than that. I'm going to whack this out of here, take out the chicken wire on the backside, get this all ready, and I don't know, at that point I'm going to have to cut this. So I don't know if I'm going to do that today or tomorrow. I can do a snap chalk line, or I can cut it down, you know, as long as I know it's further than what I need, and have this all nice and clean, ready for a 2x6. Okay, you know, is that the next thing you're gonna do? Hey, you make up your mind. But I'm gonna get all the demo work done first, you know, and I'll keep thinking about my project tonight, even when I'm done, and you know, little by little we'll get her.